Welcome to the 2.0 Grandma Podcast, a space created by a grandma for grandmas and all about grandmas. Our mission is clear: to empower and support grandmas as they redefine, realign, and redesign their lives.
Welcome to the 2.0 Grandma's podcast. I am so excited to have you because I cannot wait to continue to laugh with you. And so let me tell you a little bit about the podcast.
Thank you.
Really, the whole initiative about Grandma's 2.0 is really about living this second chapter, I call it, or the 2.0 version of yourself, which you design the way you want to design it, right? Because I feel like when you get a certain age, you can do whatever you want to do within the law, but you can do whatever you want to do, right? Because it's just that time in your life. And so, as a grandma, you've already raised your kids. Now, most of us, now some of us do raise kids again. Thank God I'm not one of those people, and I have compassion for them. But I think this is your time to live your life the way you want to. And so that's really what my platform is about. And so I like to say that this show is really fab because it's for grandmas, it's about grandmas, and it's by a grandma. And I like to invite grandmas on or people who work with grandmas in some way in their platforms or whatever they're doing, because I think that sometimes grandmas get a bad deal.
Mm.
Sometimes people say, "Oh, well, grandma, you've already had your chance. You need to go home, sit down there, and take care of the kids for us so we can go out and have fun." Well, I'm saying no. We need to go out and have fun too. We need to be outside, as the kids say, right? Having some fun, living our lives, laughing as much as we want to, and staying healthy and well.
Mm.
I'm excited that, because I want to hear more about your platform. I want my viewers, my followers, my community to hear about your platform as well, because I really love this whole idea about laughing. I'm a laugher, always have been. Used to get in trouble at school for laughing all the time.
Fantastic. I love it.
From like elementary school all the way up. Even when I was working on my doctorate, I would get in trouble because there was a guy in my class who would always make me laugh, and I'd always be over there giggling. And the professor was like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just find everything funny." That's just,
Right?
yeah. So
It's a
anyway.
gift. It's a gift.
Yes, it really is. And sometimes it gets on other people's nerves that we laugh all the time, but it is. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Oh my gosh. I think this is such a wonderful platform. I did listen to your episode with Dr. Jennifer. Was that her name? Dr. Jennifer, your last episode, I think.
Oh, so I have season one,
Season 2.
season two, the first one, season two. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, that was an interesting one because she's the one about life happens, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, 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 yes. And I have been meeting some fascinating people on this platform. Oh my God. And I've been in awe of what grandmas are doing out here.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
more I connect with people, the more fun I'm having, and the more I can share with everyone else. Because there's so many thousands of grandmas out here, and I think that we just really need to, just let people know, shine a light on what we're doing. Because there's some fascinating women's, and they're doing some wonderful things. So I'm very excited to be at this stage in my life. So I want to hear all about your health and wellness, how you integrated laughing into it. And here's what I said as far as the title for this: laugh your way to good health. Okay. And laughing is good for the soul, right?
Mm.
Because, I
It
mean, those that
absolutely.
I believe. I've always believed that. So I'm happy that I found you because now you're gonna put all the work that you do. It's like giving that saying about how laughing is so good for you. It's giving it some validity and credibility. It really is. Because sometimes people say things like that. And you're like, yeah, 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 that might work for you. But that's what I'm hoping that this session will be about today. So again, welcome, and let's just get started. I want you to tell
All
us who you
right.
are, how you got to this place where you are, and were you always laughing, or was this just something you just happened because the result of something else? Tell us all about it.
Wonderful. Okay, so my working title is Cathy Crawly, Laughing Bean Queen. It doesn't fit on a business card, but it's kind of catchy. So it's the 22nd anniversary of my worm composting business. That's the Crawly part. And so I'm located in Canada, just north of Toronto, largest city in Canada. And in 2002, our landfill closed and we started to export our garbage to the US. 1,000 trucks a week. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And really,
our own, right?
Right. Well, here's what happened. I think our landfill filled, and I'm not shaming the people, but the people in charge, the people that make the decisions. Our landfill was filling up every day, but they're like, oh, no, we have room for tomorrow's garbage. So when it finally filled, they're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? And they hadn't thought about it because they don't. And then nobody wanted a landfill in their backyard. So the fastest solution was, hey, Michigan's the trash capital of the US. They have the lowest tipping fees, meaning at landfill, the garbage trucks pay less in Michigan than other states. Okay, right? They used to be the automotive capital, but then everyone made cars. We even make cars in Canada. So they lost their industry. And I don't know, again, I make stories up like, oh, they must have been like, oh, we need a new industry. What can we do? Everyone makes trash. Why don't we be the trash capital? Good idea and bad idea. Don't do that. Thanks for laughing at my lame jokes.
You know, it makes sense. I'm laughing because I don't know if it's true or not, but it makes sense and I'm laughing. I find it funny, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I just kind of make it like, how else could it have come about?
Right.
How else, right? Anyway, so Michigan was accepting our trash, 1,000 trucks a week, in exchange for money, right? So they're getting the trash and the money, and we're like, I would say being irresponsible with our garbage as Canadians, and our tax dollars are hard at work going to the US. Like, you know, it must have cost a heck of a lot of money for 1,000 trucks to be shipped every week.
Wow.
Never mind the impact on the planet. Okay, so in comes me. I have this beautiful positive solution. Indoor composting with worms. Like, who doesn't want worms in the house? It's okay. I met most of them. It's fine.
Name them? No, I'm joking. That's what I said.
Yes, they're all called Reddy. They're all worms. Red wrigglers.
Okay.
You know, so this is, I set forth with a solution. I had a solution, but people don't buy solution. They buy what they want. They don't buy what they need. I didn't know this. And I'm divinely guided. I mean, we all are if we pay attention. If we pay attention, right? So there I was. I had this solution. I just jumped into business. Thank goodness I have all this energy and I just go. I don't think myself out of things. You know, you get that divine.
Yes, they talk themselves out. Yes, they do. They do.
Right. You get that divine thing where you go, oh, and you get all inspired. And then you go, nah, me.
Yeah.
Not now. I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm blah, blah, blah.
That's a good one. That's a barrier. What would people think if I do this, right?
That's it. Right. So I'm an action girl. So I get an idea. I'm like, oh, let's go. And then I'm like, oh, what did I do? Why did I say yes to that? Right. But it leads to the coolest life. The most amazing experiences come about when you say yes to life, not being a doormat. I'm not saying yes because you have to. I'm saying yes because you're like, oh, yes, this idea speaks to me. Anyway, I jumped in and I realized I have a psych degree. And so I love people. I'm fascinated by why people do what they do. And as soon as I started my business, I was exhibiting, you know, I'd have a table wherever I could. And I realized people are afraid of worms. Like not that they were going to harm them, just that they're gross and icky.
Right.
Something happened as a child, like in a schoolyard.
Right. Or they were not exposed. Maybe the teacher that they had, because I know I'm a professor, I teach early childhood. And getting our teachers to embrace science is like, no, but that's icky, that's nasty, is what some of their responses are. And especially when you talk about living, creepy, crawly things, they're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I just got my nails done or whatever, the situation is. So they don't want to do it. And so, yeah, but what we're doing, I think, and I agree, is that we are robbing our children of the things that they, more things that they could really know about. And then they, in turn, sometimes internalize the teacher's feelings about things and say, no, that's gross, that's nasty. When it's a learning experience. And so, and with young children, that's how they learn. Hands on, getting in there, touching, and letting the thing crawl up their arms and those kinds of things. Yeah, but sometimes they're robbed of that by the adults.
Absolutely. Thank you for, oh my gosh, that is beautiful, because I've been exhibiting and I've had teachers come up and say, what a great idea. I would love to do this in my class, but I'm afraid of worms. What do I do? And I said, here's what you do. You bring it in. You have the children manage the worms. You don't have to do it, but you tell them how ridiculous your fear of worms is. The
Mm-hmm.
worms don't have teeth. They can't bite us. We're bigger than them. They can't hurt us, is the
Right.
bottom line. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, and then you will warm up to the worms, because when you see the worms, the original alchemists, they convert garbage into black gold so we can grow more nutrient rich food. The
Hmm.
worms have this incredible role. And I believe that I was put here for this worm business so I could be the talking head. I could be like the talking worm. And I really do feel like, at one point I was thinking, man, I really feel like a worm. I don't like conflict. Like most people, I really don't like conflict. I mean, some people do like it. I'm mistaken. Some people really love it. I don't like conflict. I avoid it at all costs. But with the worm business, I'm very exposed and I'm empathetic. I'm an empath, so I feel everything. So when there I'd be at my table and I'd say, oh, the worms, they're this and that. And people would be like, ew, worms in the house. And I would question everything. I said, wow, I'm like a worm. I'm fully exposed. If you step on me, I hurt. If you say something mean to me, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that that's my superpower now, is being able to feel. And you don't get that until you're older. You don't
Mm-hmm.
understand until you have the wisdom behind the feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. That's very fascinating because again, we don't some things we take for granted, and nature is one of those things. That as human beings, we take it for granted. We don't need. We're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are trees. Yeah. So what? That sort of thing. We do. We always take things for granted, and I don't know. I don't know why we do that because when you really think about it, it's like the weather. We because I know I'm one of those people. I complain when it's cold. I'm like, I don't know when to be cold. I don't know. I hate cold. I hate rain. All this kind of stuff, right? And then when it's hot, oh, it's just too hot. Okay, lady, what do I need to do? I'm thinking God is thinking, what do I need to do to please you? Because you whine in the summertime, you whine in the wintertime. What is going on? So yeah, we take things for granted, and definitely nature. And I consider worms and part of that nature. So yeah, that's fascinating though that you have turned that into part of what you do, your life's work,
Mm.
because that's something I never would have thought about doing. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you. And what spurred that idea, or kind of kind of triggered that idea, was this whole garbage thing that was going on in Canada. Is that, or were you doing it?
Yes.
Oh,
So pardon me. Prior to that, in 1993, I moved out of Toronto, from Toronto. I moved out of Toronto into a small town.
really?
And the year that I moved, a teacher friend asked me to look after her worm bin. She was traveling for the summer.
Oh, wow.
And as an avid gardener and composter, I knew the value of the worm compost, but I didn't want worms in my house.
Uh-huh.
I'm all my clients now.
Uh-huh.
So
Huh.
I did it. I think I come from a place where we should try things for ourselves. Don't let someone else tell you, oh, you won't like that. Oh, thanks for saving me the time. What else won't I like? Let me
Right,
make a list.
right, right.
Right. And it was a disaster. I had a fruit fly like infestation. Not that they don't cause any trouble for humans, so don't get freaked out, everybody. They're
Mhm.
just bugs. They just bug us. Um, and at the end of that summer, I got the black gold. I kept the worms alive, and I said, I'm never doing this again. So that was my first, we're given messages if we pay attention. So that was my first seed. That was the first seed in intro for me for worm composting. Fast forward, I got my psych degree. It took me 15 years. I only went at night. I didn't care about the paper. I just love learning and meeting
Right.
people.
Yeah. I'm a learner too. I enjoy that. So I get it.
Right? Yeah. So 2000, I got my psych degree, got a job at a group home working with challenged adults. I loved it. Oh my gosh. I thought I had come home. I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And they didn't compost. And they had a farm and they had 10 homes on a farm. So they even had a greenhouse. What? And so
Oh,
when I approached them about
right.
composting,
Posting property, right? Yeah.
come on. When I approached management about composting, they said we don't need the fertilizer because we have cows. So they had the manure for fertilizer. And I was like, okay, if you don't, it was the first time that I realized people don't connect what they do. They have all these people, all this food waste and a farm. And then, oh, never mind that. We'll just pay for it to go away. We'll pay our hard-earned dollars to send it away. And it costs a lot because it's rotting food. It smells. Right. So I was like, so then the greenhouse manager, so I said, if you don't need the compost, you could sell it or you could just spread it on the grounds. It's not toxic. It's nature. And then the greenhouse manager said, what about vermicomposting, worm composting? And I was like, oh, have you ever done anything that you're like, oh, this is going to be so great, and then it isn't? And then you say you're not going to do it again, but then somebody says, hey, Marcia, why don't we, whatever it was, and you're like, oh, no, that
Yeah.
didn't work last time. I didn't like that.
Right.
Okay. That's where I was. But then it was an institution. I was like, they're not getting worms tomorrow. They got to have meetings and whatever, all the stuff. So I came home, did some research. Remember, I was introduced once already, and I was like, okay. So I was already warmed up to the worm idea. Then the universe served me all the wonderful facts about these worms. They eat half their weight per day in food scraps. They have 5 hearts each. Wow. They like turn this garbage into black gold. Like, so I said, wow. And my fear, which is just the unknown, was converted into awe. And I was like, wow. And I heard further that a pound of worms and their descendants could transform a ton of organic waste in a year. And that the average Canadian, and I'll say / American, family produces a ton of organic waste in a year. So I was like, ta-da, every family needs a pound of worms, and I'm just the one.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of how it came about. And yeah, so interesting. I think it's a fascinating story.
And again, it's something that you don't think about that we typically take for granted. Now, let me ask this question: are you a grandma?
I'm not a grandmother. That's interesting. I didn't get the Zoom link, so I was like, oh, it's because I'm not a grandma. I wrote in our message box that I always wanted to be a grandmother, but I was never drawn to being a mother.
Right. So it does take being that first.
Right. I was like, how am I going to? And that was my whole story. What happened when I was 21, my husband and I traveled in Africa and Asia for 13 months. And we were 27. What did I say? 21. We were 27. And I thought, when we come back, we'll do what we're supposed to do. I thought it was my role to get married and have babies. I thought that was my role in the world. I thought that's what we did as women. And so we went on this trip. I was like, okay, we'll go on this trip and then we'll come back and be responsible. We'll do what we're supposed to do. And seeing, like, traveling in a lot of countries, Canada's so big and we have such a small population. So we have space everywhere. We could go anywhere and be alone. It's not possible everywhere in the world.
Right. That's
right. We were in India, we were in China, we were in Hong Kong, we were in Indonesia, right? Like very populated countries. And we heard stories, I don't know if it's true, but that people would sell their girls into prostitution and then they're disowned. Like then you can't come back to the family, that they were maimed so when they're begging, they could make more. I mean, I don't know if these are true stories, but it hit my heart. And I said, oh, I really didn't want to have kids before. And now there's so many people. I'm gonna work with girls. I'm gonna help girls. I'm not gonna bring more into the world, but I'm gonna help the ones that are here. So I was a big sister, and I think that's my role, to be honest, is just serving the younger generation. Like, here's what I have. I don't have my own baby, so I have to share just with everybody.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you have a life of service, that you
Yes.
in some capacity or another. Now, tell us about the laugh yoga. I've never heard of laugh yoga. Now, I've heard of hot yoga, right? I think it's called hot yoga, and I call it regular yoga, but I've never heard of laugh yoga. So,
Oh, wonderful. What a great episode. Yup. New things, worms and laughter. Oh, I hope people are still listening after the worms. So 2012. So I believe I was put on earth for the worms. 2012, one more person said, ew, worms in the house. And I questioned everything. I felt it. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this important mission if people are still saying, ooh, and they've not heard of it? 10 years in. When I started in 02, I thought my goal was to put worms in every living space, every house, every business, every classroom, not just one in a school, like every class, worms everywhere as an example, like not just as where the blue bin is. Then it's like, oh, you're eating an apple. Where's the worm bin? You just put it in. We just know. It's so 2012, I questioned everything, and I'm very fast. I take action. So I said, maybe I should just get a job. Oh, no, this has to work. Who would have me? And the very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga at the very place that I wrote my business plan for my worm business. What? And I don't do yoga. I don't do traditional yoga or real yoga or whatever it's called, yoga.
right.
I jumped to the fun yoga. So laughter yoga was started in 1995 by a medical doctor, Dr. Madan Kataria. His goal is world peace. What? And I believe that laughter yoga was started in 1995 so we could be ready for 2020.
Ooh.
When the world shut down, because that gave Dr. Kataria time to train people in over 120 countries to be laughter professionals. And before 2020, there was very few opportunities to do laughter yoga online. And then, like everyone, 2020, we all got shut down and we all jumped onto these platforms.
Right.
Hallelujah for the technology.
Yes, yes. And before that, you're right. A lot of people didn't even use them. No, I'm not doing it because I remember at my college, a lot of the professors would not do online classes. They just said, absolutely not. People can't learn that way. No, I'm not doing it. I was one of the ones that adopted it early and said, yeah, let's do it. Because again, I'm like you in that respect. Something new comes, oh, that sounds fascinating. I think I want to do it. And I want to jump on the bandwagon and get it done. Because the thing is, it's something new. I love new and exciting. And so that's why I wanted to do it. But then by the time when 2020 came along and we had to do it, everybody else was like, no, I'm not doing it. So it primed me for a new position, which was online coordinator, online program. And so because I was, had been receptive. And so you just never know what's being done. And like you say, when the universe speaks, you have to listen. And if you don't listen, you could miss out on some opportunity. So, but I love the idea of the yoga laughter. So now tell me, what would a session look like? Because now I've done yoga before, and I always struggle with it because my body is very, as my masseuse says, very tight, right? I'm not as flexible maybe as most people. And so, but the laughter thing fascinates me because I love laughing. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, what does that look like? So when they say get in the warrior position, I'm laughing in the what am I doing?
No, it's not doing yoga and laughing. It's laughing as an exercise. So it's deep diaphragmatic breathing and the
Oh,
practice of the laughter. So it's when we're laughing full on, we're secreting the love drugs, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins versus cortisol and adrenaline when we're stressed. When we're our brain requires 25% more oxygen than the rest of our body as an operating principle. So when we're stressed, blood, lymph, oxygen leaves our frontal lobe so we can escape. Laughter forces us to oxygenate our beautiful brain because you can't just you're exhaling. So you have to so you can continue laughing at the joke or whatever. But it's not, laughter yoga is not jokes or comedy because those are cultural. If the joke is about somebody, it's not funny for them.
Right.
Right.
Oh.
So as the laughter leader, there's little games to inspire the laughter. There's clapping. You're clapping palm to activate the meridians. And the rhythm is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the words are ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. It's very simple. The idea is to inspire childlike playfulness, to
Mm,
oxygenate our body, connect like never before, and just to feel good. We know when we laugh, we're completely present.
yes.
We're not thinking about yesterday or that dumb thing I said, the meeting coming up. We're right here, right now. And you can't even run away. We can only laugh full on when we feel safe because our knees get weak. Have you
Mm.
ever laughed so hard you're just like you
Yes.
can't even stand up anymore?
Sometimes I feel like I'm in a what is it, like a fog. Sometimes when I laugh so hard, I'm like, wow, what did I just blank out? Right?
That's
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
and it really helps us. The beautiful part about the laughter. So I really want people to care about the planet. I really do. But when we're in a mental crisis, that's where we are. That's where we're living. We can't think about anything else. Even if our neighbor was in trouble, we wouldn't be able to go and help them necessarily.
Hmm.
So this is a way. There's so many different modalities to help us. Laughter is just it's the fastest happiness hack. It overrides our ego and our brain, and we get right into our body. Um, yeah, it's a magic, a hack. So here's a thing about English. So I'm going to tell you say an expression and then I'll break it down. So no laughter, no problem. No laughter, no problem. English is fun. So N-O laughter, K-N-O-W problem.
Mm,
K-N-O-W laughter, N-O problem.
mm,
Fun,
mm,
right? Like, so if you're not laughing, if you're so serious and stressed and in fear, because laughter is the opposite of stress. If you're over here in fear, then you better have your therapist on the phone because you got to go and talk about it.
mm.
And if
Yeah,
you know laughter, if you have embodied laughter, like now is a laughter, it's a practice. It's not like you go to a laughter club once and you're done. Just
right,
like you don't meditate once or breathe deep once or go to
right.
the gym once and you're done, right? This is a practice. And
Hmm.
I know for me, it's changed my life. And I know the more that I laugh, the better I feel, the easier I get over things. Like things still happen and I get stressed where I'm like, but then I'm like, oh, I better laugh because I'm like us, all tightened up. So I laugh and then it releases. Does it make the problem go away? I said, no problem. It makes creativity flow in so then we can come up with better solution. Then we're open to ideas.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I read something, in preparation for our episode here. I read something about it says laughter isn't just a quick pick me up, right? Like you said, it's something that you do or you need to do ongoing. You need to do it more than once and all that. And it's good for your immune system. I didn't realize all of that. I know it releases stress. Now that I knew, but I didn't know about the value for your immune system. I didn't know about the fact that it relieves pain. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And that came from the Mayo Clinic. And I'm a quote from the Mayo Clinic. I'm like, wow, so there is something to this laughter thing. Because I know my daughter and I, sometimes we get on the phone and we just laugh, 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 laugh. And we
Mhm.
find the silliest things to laugh about, right? But we both like laughing. And then her husband said, you two always laugh. And I'm like, yeah. And my husband said, oh, there she goes. And I just laugh and laugh. And I'll laugh for a long time. It's not like a, but it's a laugh. It's a real hearty laugh.
Love
And
it.
and I'm like, wow, I'm just helping myself so much and didn't even realize how much I was helping myself. It's just that
Yes.
I've always been a laugher, and I always like laughing, and it makes me smile and makes me feel good. And some people have said to me, you always act like you happy all the time. And I say to them, I choose that.
Mm,
And so now that I understand the value of laughing and all that, I understand why I choose that. Why not, right? At this point in my life,
yes.
why not?
And so you teach early education at,
Huh?
at, at college.
Mhm.
Imagine starting your class. You don't need a full like 30 or 60 minutes for a laughter club. You just need 5 minutes. Imagine starting each class with giggles and getting everybody breathing deep and just connected with laughing. And then you get on with your day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like it fits everywhere, you know?
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the laughter. I started trying the it's like the mindfulness,
Mhm.
right? So starting with meditation at the beginning and that sort of thing, just to get people calm because my students are working adults. And so they come to the class sometimes stressed out because they've had a long day of work. And so I've been using those mindfulness moments to kind of get them to calm down before we get started. And some students, they're like, okay, so I've been saving this since last week because I meet with them every week. So I want to ask my question like right away, right? So, and then some people that are not on yet might need to hear it. So my classes start like 6:30 p.m. And so what I try to do is the first 5 minutes or so, I speak to everybody. Hey, Cathy, how you doing? Okay, so how was your week? Just to kind of get them to calm down. Then when more people get on, then we go into the mindfulness moment to kind of, again, get them focused and all that. But I haven't tried to laugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that and see. And so now, do I just start laughing and hope it catches on, or how do I do that?
Yeah, so you can do absolutely. So that's one way. Challenge them to laugh for 1 minute full on. You can say you're going to laugh for 1 minute for world peace. You can put the little timer thing on if you know how to do that in Zoom, or get it. Or I have like a 1 minute sand timer, and I hold that thing up, and
I can
because
also.
yeah, you're on your phone, absolutely right. 1 minute, and it's like seems like nothing. If they play full on, like I have rock hard abs from laughing. Because our diaphragm is attached to all of our organs.
Wait a minute. Oh, you said something that I want to do. So how long do I need to laugh to get my tummy?
Well, I've been laughing since 2012, really laughing since 2020. So I would say this has really happened since 2020. And I laugh every day. I make sure that I have a laughter buddy that calls me at 7:30 in the morning. We laugh 2 minutes full on, and then we breathe for 1 minute, and then we breathe for laugh for 2 more minutes. So it's 5 minutes, and it sets the day. Oh my gosh, Marcia, it's so beautiful. It's just like, okay, world, I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready. I'm ready. What do you got for me? I'm ready.
Oh
You don't
my.
need any coffee. Like it's way better than Java.
Oh, I love that. I'm definitely going to try that. I'm going to try that with my students in class and do the 1 minute laughter thing. And I'm just going to start laughing. So, okay, and set the timer. I want everybody to laugh. And they're probably going to think it's weird in the beginning. But
Oh,
then,
they will.
yeah, then I'm going to ask them, well, how does that make you feel? I won't ask them until the end of class because it's going to be something new, right? I don't want to know how it makes them feel in the beginning because they're going to say, oh, well, that was weird. I'm going to wait end of class and see if it makes a difference and see how they feel about it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I suggest to students that when they're studying for exams, you're all in your head, you're cramming. I said before you go to write your exam, go to the washroom, laugh for 30 seconds in the washroom full on, and then come back, because otherwise you're in your head and your head's shut down because you're so stressed. I hope I remember I didn't sleep right and all of that, right? So you go, you release everything, and then everything pours in.
I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that with my students, and then that in the morning, just sitting and laugh. So now, usually, my little routine in the morning is so when I get up, after I do all my stuff, my personal bio stuff, I come back, I sit down, I take my shower, then I come back and sit down and lotion up, and it takes me 30, 40 minutes sometime to get ready because I take my time. My classes are at night, so I don't I rush more and later in the day. Then in the morning, I'm very relaxed. So sometimes I listen to music. That's a part of my ritual as well. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about all the things I'm grateful for, all that. But if I incorporate the laughter part in it, that will probably also change my day as well, change my outlook and everything. Yeah, I'm going to try that as well. I really love that idea. Yeah.
Right? So simple, just in us. So in
Mm-hmm.
2020, I took a deep dive into what does the expression laughter is the best medicine? What does it mean? Why does everyone say that?
Mm.
And there's research. The beautiful thing about laughter is that laughter yoga, it was started by a medical doctor. So already it's got street cred. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's research around the world, like with cancer patients, if they're doing laughter yoga before they go for their chemo treatments with the whole team, with their
Mm.
family, with the doctors, with everybody involved, everybody laughing. And then when they get their chemo, it's better accepted into the body. There's less side effects. People doing dialysis laughing while they're doing their dialysis. Because, I mean, these things are not funny. We're not laughing because it's funny. It's
Right.
laughing as to boost our immunity, to help us stay connected. And, you know, once we're laughing, we get more oxygen in our bloodstream. It moves our lymph. We have you know, blood in our body that's pumped by our heart. Our lymphatic fluid doesn't move unless we move, or we're laughing. When we're laughing, we're moving our lymph. So
Mm-hmm.
it really is. Oh, it's the more I learn, the more of course, the more I learn, the smarter I get. Duh. But I incorporate, laughter goes with everything. So I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong, all kinds of energy modalities in with the laughter, because my goal is just to help people get out of stress and into joy. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it's the opposite.
So what do you mean when you say, you just said, you just used that word, and I don't know what that means. It wasn't brain gym, it was,
Tapping
no,
and
tapping at
qigong.
tap dancing? Or
No,
what do you,
tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique.
okay, okay,
You know
okay.
of this? Do you know of this?
I don't, that's why I'm asking.
Emotional freedom technique is tapping on the acupressure points. It's like what do you call it? Acupuncture, but
Uh,
without needles. We're just tapping. So I generally will tap on 4 spots right here. This is stomach
uh,
meridian. So you breathe deep while you're tapping gently, and that helps to ground you. And also, if you have indigestion or upset stomach, or you're feeling really wired, this
uh,
is a great one. Next one is here on the collarbone, K27 kidney.
mm-hmm,
So you
mm,
tap there, thymus. So that's that's where our cancer fighting cells go to mature. And so
mm.
this is really great, gives us energy. And then on the side of the ribs, that's spleen. I tap on those 4 parts, those 4 points every day. And it just gets our body, like our energy, going in the right direction.
Oh, wow. Now that's fascinating too. That's a totally different subject for another podcast. I mean, seriously, that is really fascinating because you know, as I'm doing this work, I'm hearing so many things about things that we can do for our own body. You know, are you familiar with Louise Hay
Yes.
publishing? Well, I love her work, and she talks about healing your body yourself. And so I've been listening to some of that, and I'm like, wow, that is so fascinating because we all think that we typically think that it requires medical care to heal. But in essence, what she's saying is, no, that's not what it takes. It actually takes you understanding your own body, listening to your body, and then doing what you need to do in order to heal your own body. So I find that very fascinating. So anytime I hear something like that from somebody, and that's what that reminds me of when you say the tap, and how that changes your body and what's going on with you, or strengthens, it makes it stronger in
Mm.
some. Yeah, that's very fascinating. Yeah. I think that's a totally different yes, connected, but I think it's a totally different subject as well when you think about it. It's connected to the laughter and all that, but I think it's a whole genre within itself.
Yeah, it could be, absolutely. Yes, I've been tapping since 1999. I became a therapeutic touch practitioner. And as
Hmm.
part of that course was the EFT. And so I've been I've been tapping since 99, like just on different things. If I'm speaking, it helps you with anxiety. So before I was speaking, I would do my little tapping thing. And there's a whole mantra, like these 4 spots are only 4 of the spots. It's really an industry now. And so
Mm,
you tap and you say, even though I'm stressed or I'm not sure how this gig is going to go, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And
yes.
that's the hard part for people that are really feeling less than or not enough, that they
Uh-huh.
don't matter. It's a challenge to say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and mean it.
Yeah. So I started the little mantra with that Louise has, and I don't know which book it was, and I've been listening to them on tape. And so the one was about looking in the mirror every morning at yourself and saying that you love yourself. That was really hard to do, which
Yeah.
makes no sense when you think about it, because we all love ourselves. Don't, at least we say that, or well, no, we don't say it, but
No.
we would think that we think it, right? But that is not true. And I found that very hard to do at first because it also seems a little narcissist, when you say, well, you should look in the mirror dead in your eyes and say, you are enough, I love you, and then say your name, and then you say it so many times. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. But when you think about it, and when I did it, it gave me a whole new feeling of acceptance. It really.
Absolutely. I think our society squishes all these things out. I mean, I'm not a theorist. I just am kind of more a realist, and I kind of see things, and it just feels like you can't control people when everybody's super confident and everyone's like, "Hey, don't tell me."
Mhm,
But
mhm.
so we've been told, don't brag, don't, and especially as women, like, don't rock the boat, like, just like, be good, be nice,
Just do your part
do
and
your
stay
part.
out of the limelight,
Toe the
stay
line.
right, right. Do not shine brighter than the man, because right, they don't like that, right?
Right, all of those, and I think that's being unraveled during this time. Hallelujah. So
Mhm.
self-care is health-care. If we don't think we're enough, nobody else is going to think we're enough because we're a mirror. So if I
Yes.
go out there thinking, I'm less than, and who am I to do this great work? There's no mistakes. Like, we're all made in God's image. So if that's the truth, there's no mistakes. Why would he make, or she, why would we be created less than?
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
all programming that's being instilled in us for some reason. And I maybe for us to come and discover, come and find out about that. But I think that is such a gift when we can look ourselves in the mirror and feel it. It's a
Yeah.
practice for sure. It's
That's
like,
definitely a
oh,
practice. It was really hard in the beginning. Like, oh my God, she's right. This is really scared and weird, So, because again, we don't say that, and I don't think we say that enough to ourselves. And then deep down, do we really believe it? That was what I questioned. Do I really believe that? Yeah, I'm like, wow. And it's easy to say that about someone else and for someone else, but for yourself, it almost seems like you shouldn't do it. Why is that? We should not. Yeah, it's like you shortchange yourself, but you're there for everybody else. We know that makes no sense.
right. I do. Do you know the Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian prayer?
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
It's four statements, and you can say them in any order. It's I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I'm sorry. No, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
mm,
And you can say it in any order. And I say that every single time I go in the washroom. I've
mm,
trained myself, and I go so several times a day, and I look in the mirror and I say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. That prayer is so powerful. You can do that if you're having a dispute with somebody and you're like, oh gosh, I wish we could connect again. And
mm,
just you're not connecting, you can say in your mind their name. I'm sorry, Joe. I
mhm,
love you, Joe. Please forgive me, Joe. Or even you're driving, like about the traffic or anything. You can do it for anything, and you just keep on. They call it cleaning. The guy
mm,
that came up with it calls it
mm.
just kind of cleaning your aura.
Oh
Just
wow.
yeah. And
And
so
what?
that's another piece that I've added onto my self-care package, is going in there and then saying, like, I see you.
Oh, okay, I like that too. Okay, so tell us about tell us how we could get in touch with you or your social media platforms. I want people to hear that. And then when we post the episode, we'll put all that with it as well. But I want it to be heard in the in the
I
future.
love it. I would love to invite everyone. I have a free laughter club every Tuesday online. It's 30 minutes of super fun self-care, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong. I incorporate all of that because I want people to
Oh,
just
that's
feel
what
good.
Pecan.
Yes, qigong. It's like Tai Chi. It predates Tai Chi.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's an ancient practice again to get us back into our body and just moving. It's low impact exercise. It's really using our body to move our energy around.
Something that I probably need to see if it's offered around. A friend, one woman that I who is a grandma who I wanted to get on the show. She teaches Tai Chi. She's down in Myrtle Beach, and I gotta reach back out to her again to see when she wants to come on. But I love what she's doing. And I didn't realize, I never really thought about Tai Chi until I guess it was a friend. And when I started saying I'm looking for grandmas to be on my podcast, da, 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 and she said, "Oh, I know a lady who'd be perfect. She teaches Tai Chi." And I said, "So what is Tai Chi?" I've heard the expression, but I didn't know what it was.
Mm,
And so I looked at some videos. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I love that it's slow." Because, aerobics is so high impact. I
yeah.
can't put my leg up there like that anymore. So, but
Yeah.
I something and I need to keep moving. So I'm doing Pilates now, but even some days I have some challenges with that. But the Tai Chi seems beautiful because it is very slow.
Mm,
And it's almost like relaxing a little bit, because the
it
movement
is.
is slow. Yeah. So that's what say it again. Tell me the word again.
Qigong. It's a QI and then GONG.
Okay, okay, okay. And so that is just like Tai Chi in a way. What's the
It predates Tai Chi, so yeah, it's a very similar.
okay, 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 the slower movements and all of that. Okay, okay.
Yes, yeah.
So now go ahead with, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when you said the word again, I wanted to make sure I clarify.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, so everybody should come to my Tuesday club, and yeah, my laughter club website is cathysclub.com.
Okay, yep,
And if they
okay,
want to know about the worms, it's cathyscomposters.com.
okay, perfect.
And can I
CathyClub.com.
tell you about my very latest project? This
Yes.
is brand new. It's going to be world changing for some. I was given another dream. One second, sorry.
Okay.
I was given another dream, vision, and it is working with folks with Down syndrome
Mm,
and laughter yoga. So creating a whole laughter wellness program with folks with Down syndrome and have them be the laughter leaders. I've done some work over during COVID, and it's so exciting. It's been 3 years in the making, and yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm a little bit scared, and that's how you know the goal is big enough.
right.
When you're like, I'm not sure. What have I done? Why don't I stay in my box? I don't know.
Right.
And I believe that this is going to change the world for some people.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love your laugh, by the way. I love
Thank
your
you.
laugh.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
sometimes I find myself when I'm laughing, I do a little snort even. I'm like, I didn't even know I did that. But I'm laughing hard. That means I'm really laughing then when I do that little snort in there, you laugh sometimes.
Yeah,
So
it's awesome. Yeah.
yeah. So and sometimes I hear it and I'm like, oh God, did people hear that? And then I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm really into whatever it is that was said that made me laugh this much. When I do that little snort, that I'm really, really laughing, okay? That it meant something to me, whatever was said that time I saw, at that time. But yeah. But thank you so much, Cathy. I have enjoyed talking with you this afternoon. Um, and I really thank you for bringing this to the limelight because a lot of people, like I said, we take these things for granted. The whole worm composting thing, we take that for granted. Anything with nature, we kind of take it for granted. But being very intentional, I love the part about being very intentional about laughing
Mm.
and making that part and all the benefits that a person can receive as a result of that. Because sometimes we don't laugh enough, I think. We sometimes let life get in the way of what we're doing, and so we don't laugh. And one of the things I've been working lately with a lot of grandmas who are raising their grandkids, like second time around parenting. That is no laughing matter, really, okay? But they probably need the laughter more than anyone else, because I'm sure that it's got to be a very stressful event in their lives. And so this is something that I would love to talk to you offline about, possibly a webinar where you and I talk and you can do this and then help some folks. We invite some,
Mm,
that sort of thing, because I really want to do more for them, for that group,
yeah.
because I think that they deserve it. Number one, they deserve to have some joy in their lives. And so any way that I can be of a support to kind of help. So I'm thinking of new ways, like I said, coming up with new ideas about ways I can help them. And so, yeah, I would love to reach back out to you about that at some point.
Oh, love it. Yes, please.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. And again, thank you so much. I really enjoyed getting to know you.
Thank
And
you for the opportunity.
you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Introducing a remarkable book, a tapestry of stories from atypical grandmas whose lives are a treasure trove of wisdom and inspiration. Stories of inspiration, life lessons, and wisdom from grandmas by Dr. Marsha McLean. This extraordinary book is now available on www.grandmas2.0.com and on Amazon.